Welcome back to my channel, family. So I was going to film this today at the yard, but I don't like filming at the yard vlogs, so that didn't happen. So I'm sorry you don't get a video of me and Banner together like that. It would have been more entertaining, but there we go. So today I'm going to be doing the non-ridden equine tag, which is actually a tag I have come up with myself. It's the first tag I've ever done myself. So the questions may not be brilliant and there's not like that many, but I thought it was great. I really wanted to do a video about how Banner is like non-ridden. And I wanted, if any of you guys have non-riddens, to be able to do it too. Me and a girl on the Revive Equine YouTube Group Facebook page called Caitlin sort of decided to do this together. She came up with the idea of a tag after I wanted to do a video based on owning a non-ridden equine. So yeah, it seemed like a good idea. So here we go. The first question is, why is your horse non-ridden? So Banner is basically non-ridden because of me, not because of him. He was a show jumper and a pony club pony sort of thing before I bought him. He was always great to be ridden, like he was okay with it. It was his job. So I got him when I was like 10, and he was 12, and then a couple of months, and I mean like 3 months, after I got him in the beginning of 2010, my health started to like gradually decline. At the time it was like we didn't know what it was, and it was like not that it was ignored, but I was going to the doctors and they didn't know what was wrong with me, so I didn't have a diagnosis for like good 3 years afterwards. So it was just, I kept riding, I kept going to school, I kept meeting my friends when I could. And by the time 2012 came along, and that was the year I got my diagnosis of chronic fatigue syndrome, or ME, my body was like shutting down because I'd done so much without taking into consideration the sort of illness I had, where I needed to basically pace my energy and not push myself too hard. At that point I was physically too exhausted to ride. Like, it would have been impossible. I really did try, because at the time I felt pressured into it by certain people I was friends with at the time that I'm not anymore, and almost bullied into it. And at the time, like, I was 12, I was just told I had this illness. I couldn't go to school, hardly ever. Couldn't really be a normal person. And riding was like my thing, and I wanted to do it as much as possible. I felt, and I was told many times, that I was wasting Banner if I didn't. And I just at the time didn't have any solutions to it. And he was just unfit and unhealthily fat, if I'm honest with you. I pushed and pushed and pushed for a long time to keep riding irregularly, and it just did my body no good. Like, it got to the stage where I spent like 6 weeks housebound and couldn't even see Banner. So what was the point in that, just so I could ride him for 15 minutes and to say I rode my horse today? It seemed really pointless, and it was starting to not be something I enjoyed, if I'm honest. Like, whilst it was my health and not my confidence that stopped me from riding, the ME made me very weak physically, and obviously that affected how I rode and how nervous I felt, because Banner would be picking up on like how nervous I felt. And yeah, it was like a vicious circle. I felt weak, I felt nervous, and he'd play up and I'd feel worse, and I just couldn't control him because I was so weak. And he's not like wild or crazy or anything, but like, you can imagine the extent of how weak I was to not be able to like control a 14-toe pony on the ground or ridden. Like, it was just impossible. Like, I could not hold him, and he's not even that strong. Like, he's not a naturally strong horse really. And so 2013 I was still pushing for riding, not really doing anything else other than trying to ride, if I'm honest. Like, I'd see him but I wouldn't exercise him any other way, and the main aim for me was get on and ride, but make myself really ill in the process. It was, by the time 2014 came around, this pushing to ride was non-existent. Basically, I didn't want to ride. I had no energy to do it. It felt like, why am I doing this to just feel so ill afterwards? So I stopped trying, really, and I didn't do anything else. Like, at the time, I don't know if I was really physically well enough to try in hand or anything like that, but I didn't bother. It didn't seem like something that was there for me. It wasn't an option. Like, I didn't know about it. So he went away to the summer field that year, and he got laminitis, partly because he was so fat, because I wasn't being a good owner, basically. And it's not because, like, I'm a non-ridden owner and I'm not incompetent. Like, at the time I was a beginner anyway when I got him, so that was just regardless of whether I was riding him or not. And if I'm honest, like, there was things I didn't know. I should have learned. I should have cut down his food, but I didn't, and he wasn't getting exercise. It was just a mistake on my part. Plus, he went away to the summer field bigger than he should have been, and the grass was obviously quite fresh, and yeah, he cut his leg as well, so his movement was really minimal. So it all just combined into one, and he got laminitis. So yeah, so he came home for box rest and everything, and at this point now I'm thinking, right, I've got to suck it up, which is really pointless with my condition. Like, I don't know what I was thinking, but I was 14. Suck it up, and I've got to ride him, and I've got to exercise him. So I rode him like every day for a week in walk, and it was fun. Like, I managed it, but that was it. Like, obviously he went lame again with stiffness and had to be out for quite a while. But once he came back in, then I decided this is enough. He's getting exercise, he's not getting fat again. And he was getting on, like, I can't remember how old he would have been, but I just didn't want to ruin his life before it needed to be. I really did blame myself a lot. So that's when I started in hand. I was still riding a little bit whenever I could, and I still kind of do, but I rode him on Tuesday, and I think I've come to the conclusion that he's really starting to not enjoy it so much now he's getting older, and that he's seen the world of, like, non-ridden. So we'll see how we go about that. But his main workload is non-ridden. Like, he's mostly non-ridden. The amount of times I ride is really not enough. If I only rode him, he would not be getting enough exercise. Do you know what I mean? So obviously there are non-ridden horses that aren't worked, but I believe Banner needs to be worked. Like, he's still quite active in his mind. He's almost 21, and his body is still quite active too. Like, he really enjoys the in-hand work. He enjoys being worked. Like, he likes to do stuff. He also likes his tricks and his liberty. So, look at me, I've talked for too long. I've only done one question. So typical. That is why Banner is non-ridden, because of my health. And then, yeah, and then sometimes I think I'm physically a lot better than what I was when I'm talking about when he started being non-ridden. And perhaps I could ride him regularly if I really tried, but I really enjoy non-ridden work. I just really enjoy being with horses. Like, I don't know if I fell out of love with riding because I wasn't doing it, but it just doesn't seem worth it anymore, you know? So, next question, let's move on. What is the point in keeping a non-ridden horse? This is, like, quite frequent. I put this in even though it's, like, a bit controversial. It's, like, something people ask, like, why have you got a non-ridden horse? Why don't you just sell it? Why didn't you just ride it? Why didn't you put it down? Like, it's not a waste. Like, I pay money to keep Banner, to feed him, to rug him, so he has his oil, it's called liver oil, his hay, you know, but it's not a waste. Like, he's healthy, he's happy, I don't understand the concept of why people think it's a waste to keep a non-ridden horse. Yeah, because I just can't even put it into words, because to me, Banner is like my pony. He was bought for me for Christmas when I was 10, and how horrible would it be for me to go to him? Oh my god, you can't, I'm gonna sell you now because you're not, I can't exercise you. That just seems so mean and pointless. Like, I can't believe some people are like that. Like saying to an old person you're not worth it, because I don't know, it winds me up. The point in keeping Banner for me is he's my best friend, so god dear me. What do you do with your non-ridden equine? So we do lots, but mostly in hand and lunging is his exercise, like his physical exercise, because he's greedy and he needs to be stimulated in some sort of way, and he enjoys it. In hand more the lunging, but he's starting to like lunging a bit more. I just find lunging easier because I can see what he's looking like, and it means I don't have to do as much running, and I can just get more out of him. Like, he can trot faster and more freely, because when I'm with him on the ground, obviously, like, if I do anything wrong, like trip or stumble or something, like, it affects him, and if I can't run as fast, he's like not going to his full potential or something like that, you know. That's how he gets worked. And then we do tricks like smile and kiss, he knows, and he knows also like turn when I point. Like, this is really pointless, like I don't know why I taught him this, but it's really fun. He spins when I point and goes backwards and forwards. And we do walking at liberty, sometimes trotting, but he doesn't always want to trot, so that's okay. Yeah, it just really that he gets brushed, obviously, and I like to spend time with him. He's out 24/7, so he loves his company with his other horses. Yeah, he just really enjoys life. Like, he gets to be a horse, he gets to have fun, you know? Do you know? Have you ever experienced prejudice for having a non-ridden equine? I guess so, yeah. Lots of people think, like, why should I sell him? Like, I shouldn't be holding Banner back because of my health. But he was 12, like, he wasn't young, he wasn't 6 or anything. Like, I'm not saying that you can't have a non-ridden 6-year-old. But when I bought him and stopped riding him, actually he was older than that, because I was still riding him for like a few years anyway, not doing as much or competing or anything, but you know, it just seems to me like he competed, he jumped, he's done loads of things with his previous owners, and oh god, it doesn't seem to me like I wasted him. Like, he was about 14 when he fully or maybe 14 or 15 when he fully became non-ridden, and that's a veteran anyway. So don't understand people's prejudice towards it at all. He's fully cared for. I know some non-ridden equines aren't cared for that great, but they should be. They're not unworthy compared to ridden horses at all. Yeah, so I have experienced prejudice, I've experienced bullying, I've been told I should sell him or loan him out, I've been told that I'm wasting him, blah 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 blah, I caused his laminitis, I've caused this and that for him, he could have done so much more if I'd sold him. Great. How do you feel when people say you're wasting your horse? Basically just said that, but it makes me feel annoyed, but I used to get really upset by it, but now I know he's not wasted. Like, he's happy, he's almost 21, he's quite healthy, like, for an almost 21-year-old. No, I'm just like, you were so uneducated. I just have no time of day for people like that. they obviously are very close-minded people and don't understand the concept of groundwork. What's your favourite thing to do? What's your horse's favourite thing to do even? To be honest, I'm not sure. Probably eat. He can be grumpy about all things, like he can be quite a grumpy old man, but he likes smiling. Smiling is his favourite trick.
Okay, smile. Good boy.
Obviously that entails getting a treat afterwards, but it's his oldest trick and his favourite trick, so I'm gonna say smiling. How long has your horse been non-ridden for? I think I've gone into this, but in years wise it's like 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18. 4 years, only 4 years. But I suppose I wasn't really riding him properly since 2012, so if you count from then, it's like 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 6 years. It's like, it's really hard to say because he's never been fully non-ridden. Like, I've always ridden him like every year at least 3 times or once or something. Like, hard to say. But really since 2012 he stopped being ridden regularly, and then since 2014 I started like the in-hand work and stuff, like 2012 and 2013, and the beginning of 2014 he sort of did nothing when he wasn't being ridden, you know, so about 6 to 4 years, you know. What is your favourite part of owning a non-ridden horse? I don't know, like, to be honest, when I first stopped riding him I was like really annoyed and gutted about it. I was so like angry, but now I don't even miss it really, not much. Like, I ride him once or twice a year and that's like fulfills me. To be honest, I just like that I have a connection with my horse on the ground and I'm able to enjoy him on the ground. I think that takes quite an open mind, see, especially when you talk to some people who are like, must ride, must compete, must win all these ribbons. And there's nothing wrong with that, but sometimes you've got to think outside the box, because there's more to life than competing and jumping and winning ribbons and riding in general. Sometimes just take a step back and enjoy your horse, really. It does wonders. What is one misunderstanding about non-ridden equines that you'd like to clear up? I'm not sure. Misunderstanding. Well, that they're wasted, belong to like people who just like to like that they belong to old women that don't know how to horse, because to be honest I know people who ride horses that are, I don't want to sound big-headed, but even, I don't know how to word this, like I know people who ride every day and when I see them on the ground with their horses there's like a significant lack of control. And I just think groundwork and being able to control your horse on the ground is as important, if not more important, than ridden work. Like, you should be able to control your horse in the stable and on the ground before riding it, in my opinion. It's just a basic, and lots of riders don't have it. Like, you see them and they're getting dragged everywhere, the horse just wants to eat the grass and they just have no control. The horse won't move when they tell them, they won't stop when they tell them, on the ground like leading. And of course Banner can be naughty too, but then they're like, oh, he's just like this, he's fresh, and he's not. It's just like incompetence because they think groundwork is not necessary, and it is. Like, if your horse is biting you and stomping on you and kicking you when you're trying to brush it, to me that is more important than being able to get on it and jump 1.40 meters. I don't know, like, I know competitions, horses can be a bit like, you know, mouthy and whatever, because our yard has race horses, I'm used to that. They can be shitty, but there's no need for genuine lack of control. Like, you see pony club riders and they can't control their horse on the ground. They can jump 2 foot, like 3 foot or 4 foot and win a showing class, that is fine. I don't know, I don't mean to get shitty, but groundwork isn't like irrelevant to riders either. Like, it's so important. I really like, yeah, oh my god, I best get off my high horse. But I don't know if that's a misunderstanding, but like, just the misunderstanding that non-ridden equine owners are like incompetent with horses, that they don't know how to look after them, they don't know how to control them, and that they don't know how to ride. Like, maybe some don't, but like people would say like, I don't know how to ride, like I'm just scared of riding. I stopped enjoying it because of my health. My health was causing a major issue, and it just wasn't any point in pushing my body. And then when I really got to enjoy my horse, like Banner, we came to a connection that we didn't have when I was riding him, and that to me was way more important than riding him like once in a blue moon. He follows me now, he does tricks for me, he's still a cheeky monkey, bit me today. But yeah, just that misunderstanding that all non-ridden horses are like just pasture ornaments, which is okay, but that they just get chucked a ton of food, and their owners just, you know, pat them every now and again or whatever. Like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, because obviously there are non-ridden equines out there like that, but I don't know what I'm trying to say. But also like that thing that if I can run around with my horse, I can ride him. Not necessarily. Riding takes a lot of energy and muscle that I no longer have. I just appreciate my pony more than I like riding, I guess. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. When Banner is dead, morbid, I know, I don't know if I'd buy a riding horse, because it doesn't seem fair to the horse when I'm not capable to like keep it up regular, and it doesn't seem to me appealing. Like, I'd much rather buy or rescue a non-ridden horse. Wow, I've been talking for 25 minutes. This is gonna be a monster to edit. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope no one took offence. I am not anti-riding at all. My best friends ride. My best friend competes in dressage and show jumping. But she accepts what I do with Banner. I'm sorry, the fridge just started buzzing. But she accepts what I do with Banner, and she accepts that it works for us. She doesn't like go, you shouldn't be doing this, and I don't argue with her. Like, it works for her horses what she does. It wouldn't work for Banner, and that's just simple as. Horses are individuals. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I can edit this and get it up. It's gonna be so long. I'll leave my social medias all below if you want to like follow Banner's non-ridden journey. He's a Mong basically. He just causes hell to my life. Thank you for watching. I'm sorry if I blabbed and blabbed and blabbed and made no sense, but okay, bye.